Welcome to Lubbock ISD 360. I'm your host for today's episode, Elizabeth Roup. Thank you so much for joining us on today's vodcast. We are talking all about the classes offered here at Lubbock ISD-TV, giving you a 360 view. Kim Couch will join us to talk about audio-video production at all levels, 1, 2, and 3. Joshua Reimer will join us to talk about digital audio and the cool things they're doing in that new class offered by the district. And finally, Nathan Edgar will join us to talk about digital photography. Not a new class to the district, but it's a new one that Lubbock ISD-TV has taken on. So we're excited to share with you some of the awesome things that those students are doing this year. Stay tuned. We've got a full 360 view of Lubbock ISD-TV here on Lubbock ISD 360. Kim Couch is joining me in studio now as she's our inaugural guest on the newly reformatted Lubbock ISD 360 as a vodcast. That's a trendy word for video podcast, by the way, for anyone interested and didn't know what that means. Kim is one of our teachers here at Lubbock ISD TV. She teaches audio video productions and a section of photography, which we'll touch a little bit later on in the show. But we're going to talk about audio video production first. So first, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
For anyone who doesn't know, let's start out by telling everyone at home what audio video production is.
So audio video production is basically anything audio and video and how you produce it. So it goes over, how do you work a camera? What are the steps to even getting to the process of where you're working with camera? So the pre-production process, the coming up with the idea, the storyboarding, the shot lists, and what type of shots you get. All the way to the editing and the final product.
Before, I know you've talked to some students and we want to bring those kids onto the show because that's what this is all about, is right. The students and what they're excited about and why they're here. So let's hear from them.
Yeah.
I signed up for this class so I could figure out more about the technological aspects of, for me, theater. I want to know more about behind the scenes and the recording that goes into making productions and shows. I've learned a lot more about, behind the scenes of, things that I see all the time. For example, news anchors. I know how to, edit better and, work behind the scenes to make the production, become one. I'm excited to actually, use the cameras and, record things and make videos. That seemed really cool when I saw it. Even if, you don't end up doing anything with AV in the future, you'll still have that extra knowledge just in case. And I feel having this class in your back pocket will lead to better opportunities.
Oh, I love that. And talking about not only just careers they could potentially go into, but just some of the skills that they can use even if they pursue other careers.
Absolutely. That's always one of the first things I tell my students every year is that no matter if you want to do this as a job in the future, you should get something out of it that will help you.
That's so true. And you don't think about how many job opportunities. You don't just have to go work at a news station anymore. There are so many companies and places that need these skills in the industry.
Absolutely. Here's one other student. I am here with Diari Pollard. He is an Audiovisual Productions 1 student. Diari, what are your thoughts so far of Audiovisual Productions?
Personally, I've had a great time. I didn't want to do this class, but getting in here let me explore, be more creative. I like it so far from my perspective.
Did you know about the class before you got into it, or did you seek it out?
No, actually, I was planning to do culinary, but it was closed, so I chose this one. I thought it was going to be cool.
Okay. What have you learned so far in this class?
I learned how to be more social, more active, and more confident with my voice and myself on camera and off camera.
What do you expect to learn more about this year?
I expect to learn on how cameras work, on how interviews work, on how the news works, on how everything works in TV and production.
What is the number one thing you're looking forward to this year?
definitely the production behind the cameras and stuff like that. I'm looking forward towards all of that.
If nobody knows anything about this class, how would you describe this class?
Fun, going, or ongoing, is never boring, that's for sure. And you're always doing something.
What would you tell to people not in this class on why they should take this class?
I'd say it's really creative that you get to do stuff like this. You get to explore new things like cameras and behind the scenes of what you don't get to usually see on TV.
Thanks, Diari.
You're welcome.
I love that. I love that he didn't necessarily start out as like this is what he wanted to take, but he kind of discovered something new. And I think sometimes those are the students that thrive the most.
Absolutely. He shows a lot of passion so far. We're only on week 5, maybe. So good future.
I think just give us a quick preview of if a student comes into audio video production and they stay with us for a couple years, what's that journey going to kind of look like?
So in Audiovisual 1, we hit on a lot of different things. So commercials, PSAs, we've done a lot of studio work so far, learning all the different positions. We'll touch on sports and short films. And then as they move on to year 2, they'll just go more in depth. They'll learn more about how to conduct interviews in a more professional manner. We do that in Audiovisual 1, but more experience helps you in the long run. And then in 3rd year, they are pretty much doing a show on their own with some help from Mr. Lawson, but they pretty much put on a show all on their own. And so it is just building year from year from year.
Absolutely. And all of our work, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd year, all of our work the students are producing can be found on Lubbock ISD-TV. We're on cable, Vexus, and Optimum Channel 12. Channel 112. We're streaming 24/7, LubbockISD.org/TV, and there you can find stuff live and on demand. Of course, YouTube, social media, all the places, and it's student work that we're sharing. So
absolutely, and that's a drive for them because they want to show their best work.
Absolutely. Kim, thank you so much for being here, for sharing your talents with our students, and being one of our awesome audio video production teachers. Just ahead, I'll have some more teachers on the show to share some of the other classes we're offering this year, digital audio technology and digital photography, so you won't want to miss that. Stay tuned right here on Lubbock ISD 360. From a child's first day of pre-K to the day they turn their tassel at graduation, Lubbock ISD's mission is to nurture, develop, and inspire every child every day. In addition to unique academic programs and athletics at every level, Lubbock students get the opportunity to perform in the Buddy Holly Hall, learn in state-of-the-art facilities like the Byron Martin Advanced Technology Center and the AgriSTEM Center. For more information about Lubbock ISD, visit our website, LubbockISD.org, or keep up with us on social media. Welcome back to Lubbock ISD 360. Josh Reimer is joining us now. Welcome to the vodcast, as we're calling it here. You've heard the term vodcast, right?
Oh, yeah, video podcast, right?
Right.
Perfect.
We're excited about the rebrand, and this is one of the things that your students will be working on in our new digital audio class. Tell us more about it.
That's right. They've actually they've gotten to get started on it already a little bit, and they've been having a great time. I think the first couple days of class were kind of rough because it was a lot of sitting around, not doing much, just learning and trying to get them the basics and the fundamentals. But as soon as I got to give them recorders to go interview people outside of the class and then get the opportunity to come in here and record, they've been extremely excited to get going with that.
Good. Now, this is only one of the things that your students are going to be getting to do. Tell us more about what the digital audio class will cover.
In terms of content, the other types of content we'll be doing, they're going to be doing audio packages. So think of a feature story, but rather than having B-roll being a central piece to that you're hearing, it's all audio, right? So you have to make sure that the audio that you capture is able to tell the story to the same degree, right, and get that point across. But they're also, we're going to get to learn about recording different instruments. That's a big part of it, how to run live sound for different types of events, from live music, what that looks like and how that differs from live sports broadcasts. And I actually have a lot of students, as we'll hear in a second, that are really excited to get to experience what running the audio board and being on the field with a microphone for live sports looks like.
Awesome. Tell us more. You talked to some students about what they're excited about. Tell us what we're going to hear from them.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk to them first about, why they wanted to take the class. It's a new class, and so this is the first opportunity that students have in Lubbock ISD have had to take a dedicated audio class. So, we can hear from them if you're ready for that.
Absolutely. Let's bring it on.
All right.
So I've always been somebody who's been very interested in voice acting and music in general. And I was hoping that this class may be able to grow on some of those sides of production that aren't usually talked about in other AV classes. And also just because it's interesting in general, I want to really get all the information I can about AV before I have to go to college and, be in the workforce.
I enjoyed the digital technology course because I thought it would help me with my music production. I feel like, connecting the amps and connecting the chords to whatever they teach me in digital technology, I feel like it would help me towards, my career in music.
I love that they both talked about preparing for the future, and no matter where they're going, these are some skills that they can work on outside of just school.
Yeah, and I think it's important that, I might be a little biased as the teacher of this class, but I think it's important for everyone to have an understanding and appreciation for how audio can tell stories, but also how audio can be a big part of your life, no matter what you end up going to do.
It's a very popular industry. I feel like everybody has a podcast these days, so it's definitely something students can find a job in.
Yeah, well, and that's I say that to my kids all the time. Everyone and their mom has a podcast. How are you going to make yours unique to you? How are you going to make yours something that people want to listen to? I also got to talk to some more students about what they're hoping to get out of this class beyond, why they took it. Now that they're in it and they kind of understand a little bit more about what we're going to be doing, they're getting a little excited about a couple of things. If you're ready to hear about that.
Absolutely. Bring it on.
All right.
I'm excited to learn more about the truck, the LISD-TV truck. Going out there, experience hands-on myself on the field, recording, our games. I would look forward to that and learn how that works on the spot.
I'd really like to just better my skills in general, and I'd also like to get a little bit more used to hearing my voice without wanting to cringe at it, because that's always been a difficult thing for me. Even though I've been doing this for 3 years now, it's always been something that I will listen to a video and have to pause it while I'm editing, just like, no. I'd like to just get more comfortable with that and just more confident in general.
If you're interested in podcasts or if you're interested in social talking, being around others, extroverted, it is a good course for, learning your people skills, learning how to create whatever your podcast is, your main theme.
I'm just really excited for this year, especially since going into my sophomore year. I wanted to do this class, but it ended up not happening, and now that I'm a junior, I'm really glad that I get to be doing it.
Yeah, we got to hear from, I thought it was a good mix of two different kids, because one of them, they've been in our program this is their 3rd year, and they're also in our 3rd year practicum class in the morning before they come see me in the afternoon. But then the other student is just in our digital audio class, and so a lot of this is very new to him.
I love that they're ready to take a deeper dive into audio. And, after having taken audio video production for 2 years, they're still interested to take a deeper dive into audio and really get nerdy about audio, if I can say that.
Oh yeah, there's definitely, I feel like I have, what's the word for it? Reputation for getting a little in the weeds and getting excited about some of the things that most people think would be more boring. So I'm excited to see how my students will react to those lessons in particular, especially when we get to like bit depth and bit rate and stuff like that I really
Audio nerdy.
I really get into the weeds with. So it's exciting to see what they'll think of that. And I do think, though, that one of our students, they mentioned, I think it's a universal experience cringing at your own voice for a little bit. It takes a while.
Oh, for sure. Everyone does that. I know I still do.
Yeah. So I love to hear that, but it is universal.
Yeah. Well, this is just the beginning of digital audio production. Next year we'll add digital audio production 2 and really hope to build the program. So if students are interested, they should reach out and talk to your counselor about digital audio production with Lubbock ISD-TV.
Yeah, exactly. Learn how to tell stories with the power of audio.
Josh, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for answering all of our audio questions all the time. And good luck with the digital audio production class this year.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Coming up after the break, Mr. Edgar, the man, the myth, the legend, will join us to talk about the other new class that we're offering from Lubbock ISD-TV, photography. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Lubbock ISD 360. Nathan Edgar is joining us in studio today. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. Now, you have quite the background, but if some people didn't know, you have a little bit of photography background.
A little bit, yeah.
When the opportunity came for Lubbock ISD-TV to take part of these classes, it seemed like you were one of the natural people to go to. So tell us a little bit about your background first.
So really my first job out of college, I worked as a photographer. There was the guy that took all my yearbook photos ever since I was in kindergarten all the way up through my high school graduation. I went to work for him, actually. And so I spent 2 years traveling around West Texas, taking yearbook photos, sports photos, extracurricular group photos, all sorts of stuff. But so it was mainly a lot of posed in front of a background with lights, and do sometimes 2,000 students a day, just get them in, get them out, and get all those yearbook photos done.
That's a lot of pictures.
Yeah, it was a lot. So I had to learn very quickly. I had a little bit of knowledge of what photography was. I did take a photography class in college, but then spending 2 years doing nothing but photography, I learned quite a bit.
Now, one of the things that I've already loved to see so far is just the connections and the guest speakers that you've brought. Talk to us about, why you think that's important and what you're sharing with your students.
Well, I definitely know that there are people who know a lot more about photography than I do, and have done some really amazing things. I mean, so far we've had one guest speaker come in who he has been to the World Series, taking pictures at the World Series. That's something I've never done, probably will never do.
That's incredible. Bucket list type stuff, though.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. He even talked to the students about how some of the photos he's taken have appeared on baseball trading cards. And, so some really cool things. So I think it's important to find those people who are really, really good at what they do, and just to come in and just talk about how they got there, because just kind of like our students now, they had to start somewhere. They started with no knowledge whatsoever, and they have just grown and increased. And one of the biggest things that he told us was, you just have to take pictures. The more pictures you can take, the better you're going to get. And so just for the students to hear that the more they do and the more they put into it, the more they're going to get out of it.
I love that, because that's something that we can all apply to our everyday life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just practice makes perfect.
Absolutely. Tell us about some of the projects and some of the things your students are working on or will work towards.
So right now we're working on getting some photographs to display at the South Plains Fair that's coming up. And so that's kind of our first big project, is getting those ready, because they have to be printed and mounted so they can be displayed there for people to come and look in the display hall. But we'll go through lots of things. We're trying to jump into sports photography, and we'll do a lot of we'll talk about portraits, and we'll talk about product photography, and just kind of the whole gamut of things within the photography world and different types of photography that people can get into.
I think it's something that not everybody really thinks about. I think one of the most common things is like a wedding photographer, or like when you take Christmas pictures, but there's so many different places and industries that need photographers.
Yeah, I mean, any advertisement of any product whatsoever, food photography is a real big one. And that might be a kind of a fun lesson that we can do with the culinary department is how do we style food to take pictures? Because, when you look at fast food advertisements, the fast food advertisement looks a whole lot better than the actual food when you get it.
Always.
So
I know there's some crossover students and students who've taken audio video production before. Talk to us a little bit about that. And are they still getting things out of taking photography?
Yeah, so photography is a little bit more, it's a different mindset than video. So a lot of the same concepts are still there. We still talk about shutter speed and ISO and aperture and white balance and all those same concepts that they learned in audio video production, but it's a little different. I always tell people in audio video production, you need like 10 seconds of a really good scene in order to make a decent video. But photography, you're looking for that one moment. And it's instantaneous. And so it's a little bit of a mind shift of trying to capture something for a long period of time and just find that one exact moment where it all kind of comes together and it works for the perfect photo.
And I think that's something the vice versa. I think students who have taken photography, they can come into audio video production and apply some of those same camera principles, but, really expand on what they've learned.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing for my crossover students that have taken audio video production, I told them, and we teach you in video that you manually focus everything. I said, but in photography, we autofocus. And that kind of blew their minds. And I said, a lot of the same concepts, but there is a little bit of a shift and a mind shift, especially with telling them, hey, yeah, use that autofocus, that they weren't prepared for that.
I like seeing it challenge students, though, because you really have to apply yourself in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think one of the other things that I'm really excited about is to get to see the students' work on TV too, because we're going to share some of their work on our program. That's what I call TV/photography now.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be exciting to be able to showcase some of their photos, hopefully throughout Lubbock ISD-TV and Lubbock ISD's social media pages. You'll see some of their photos as well. I've had some students go to some volleyball games and football games already and have taken some really cool photos just for their first time out. I think that they're pretty incredible, really kind of getting the concepts down and being able to capture that in a photo.
That's awesome and awesome to hear. And I'm so excited to see what they do and where they're able to take these skills. So thank you so much for joining us and sharing a little bit about digital photography. We've had a great time today showing you a 360 view of audio video production and the other programs in the Lubbock ISD-TV family. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. If you want to get involved, students, talk to your counselors about getting involved with Lubbock ISD-TV. You can take audio video production, digital audio, or digital photography. All of these classes are housed here at the Byron Martin Advanced Technology Center. And we're one of the only programs that involves freshmen. So freshmen, you can take audio video production and come over here and get started a little bit earlier than some of the other programs. Students involved in our programs get the opportunity to collaborate with students from all 5 high schools, and transportation is provided to and from your home campus. So that's not something that you have to worry about. We'd love to have you, help you get involved, help share your creativity with our Lubbock community and those who are following us. Speaking of following us, you can check out our work on social media. We're very active on Facebook and Instagram, and we're building our Threads audience. So just search for Lubbock ISD-TV. We're also on YouTube, of course. Search for Lubbock_ISD there. We share student work and all the things highlighting our great district here in Lubbock ISD. So make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all the things to that YouTube page. You'll also find more of these podcasts there, the student podcast from Digital Audio Technology, and so much more. So that's something you want to be sure to check out. That's also where you will see our live sports streams coming soon, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for tuning in to Lubbock ISD 360 and to Lubbock ISD TV. For all my students who are out there listening, file save, Control S. We'll see you next time.
This has been a production of the students and staff at Lubbock ISD-TV.